went to an event. It was a party, and Les Brown was there. And I'm sitting next to Les Brown, and he's taking notes.
NYC, Grant Houses Community Radio, home of the Community News Service, and the soul of the Upper West Side.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rick Young. This is another segment of WHCR and GHCR.NYC, this brother and sister radio stations. And the name of this program is called What's in Your Hand. What's in Your Hand is a motivational program. We talk about success, achievement, reaching your goals, reaching your dreams, good health, which is definitely important, and having fun. And if you want to have fun, you got to be in good health. So today I have a very special guest. I'm really honored. She's coming from the West Coast. She's the author of a book called 7 Days in the Usha Village, a conversation with Dr. Sebi. Beverly Oliver. Beverly, how are you doing today?
I'm doing real good, Rick. Thank you so much for having me on to talk about one of my favorite subjects, Dr. Sebi.
Well, we did an interview before, and the thing about it, the interview was in New York, and you're in California. Did you get up 3 hours early to do the interview?
I think I did, because we're 3 hours behind you.
Wow. Well, you know what? I really respect that. That shows me someone that's really passionate about their topic.
Yes. I'm passionate about health and nutrition, and I just want to get Black folks off of those high statistics of being the sickest when it comes to diabetes, the sickest when it comes to heart disease, the sickest when it comes to hypertension. And I just want to get those numbers down. I just feel wholeheartedly that we're a better people than that, a better people than the statistics show.
Well, Beverly, I'm gonna have to say, what I've seen, here's what I've seen. Now, like I said, I don't know everything, but here's what I've seen, what I've noticed. I noticed that people don't do what they have to do. They do what they want to do. Sometimes what they want to do doesn't always help them. They want to do what they want to do. I think successful people do what they have to do. Can you speak to that, Beverly?
I think you're talking about from a health standpoint, right? When you say people do what they want to do, you're talking about health?
Health, everything, with everything. There's a lot of people that don't want to, they say, hey, wear masks, be safe, keep distance, wash your hands. There are people that are not doing that.
Right.
And so, well, if they say this is what you do to be healthy and you don't do it, I don't know what that means.
Well, there's not a lot that I can do to control that. I can only be an example for other people and just do the right thing. If they're saying that wearing a mask keeps us healthy, will keep you healthy, I just go on and do it, even if it's exaggerated. Some people feel that this whole pandemic is a bit exaggerated. Yeah. And some people think that it infringes on their liberties and their civil rights. And I just feel that if the officials, if Fauci and all the others are saying it's best to, not throw caution to the wind and do as they say and wear the mask, I've decided I'm just going to go and do that, right? Generally speaking, and I thank the Creator for this, I'm a healthy person and I want to maintain that. And what helps me maintain that is the regimen I follow that has been passed down to me by Dr. Sebi.
Yeah. So Beverly, some people feel that self-discipline takes away their liberties, takes away their freedom. Some other people feel that self-discipline is freedom. What do you say about that, Beverly?
I think self-discipline protects you. I think self-discipline is effective. I really do. I think self-discipline shows everyone else that you want to do the right thing, and doing the right thing is a good thing. And so I just think that self-discipline, self-control is so freeing, Rick. I really, really do. I think it's a good I think it's a good thing. And I don't think that your liberties are being taken away from you. I don't think that's the issue here with this pandemic that's going on. I think that it is a public health issue when the authorities say, we're on lockdown, we want you to wear your mask, we want you to keep your distance from people. That's not a civil liberty issue. That's not an infringement on your civil liberties, right? That is a public health issue, and they are trying to keep us safe. That's what I feel.
Uh, Beverly, I'm gonna step away from the camera for a minute, but I can still hear you. But I'm gonna ask you a question. I want you to answer this question. I'm going like about 2 feet away. The question is, because we're on this conversation about self-discipline. So one of the people that I admire in the work, the teachings that they have done, is a gentleman by the name of Jim Rohn. And one of the quotes that he said that I really love, he said, self-discipline is the bridge from thought to accomplishment. Self-discipline is the bridge from thought to accomplishment. When you hear that quote, Beverly Oliver, what becomes present for you?
Well, I'm going to borrow an equation from someone that I admire, and his name is Jack Canfield. His equation is E plus R equals O. Have you ever heard of that equation
No, I
by
know,
Jack
but I'm gonna
Canfield?
learn.
Okay. E plus R equals O is event plus response equals outcome.
Uh,
Okay. So to apply this to what we're talking about, how you feel, how you act, or how you respond to a certain event pretty much determines your outcome. Okay. And so that's how I feel about self-discipline, because if I exercise self-control and self-discipline in a particular event, then my outcome is going to be a good outcome. It's going to be an accomplishment for me. That's the way I feel, right? So self-control, self-discipline pretty much determines what your outcome in this particular event is going to be.
wow, awesome. Can you see my cap?
Self-discipline, I see that.
I had to change up the conversation. I had to change up. I had to
Okay,
get with the time.
sure.
So, Beverly, your book, a conversation with Dr. Sabi, a conversation
Oh,
can impact.
Rick, can I jump in for a second?
Yeah,
Now,
sure.
are we talking about that first book, or are we talking about the new book?
Well, we want to talk about all your books.
Okay. Okay, great. I just wanted to make that clear.
But that means, but the fact that 7 days in Usha Village, a conversation with Dr. Sabi, because what that means to me, that a conversation can have a powerful impact on somebody's life, and not only your life but others. Can you speak to? I mean, the conversation that sounds so powerful, because we have conversations every day, pretty much.
Well, this conversation that I had with Dr. Sabi back in 2005 was so powerful and so impactful that we had to do a book about that, because Dr. Sabi has spoken many, many times in front of many, many people, right? But he retired from that, oh, I would say around 2004, 2005, because that's when I reconnected with Dr. Sabi. And when I reconnected with him and found out, surprisingly, that he had retired, he had stepped away from the public stage, I said, oh my gosh, why didn't you put your information in a book so that we could have something to refer to in your absence? And lo and behold, he pulls out his manuscript. Now, the manuscript is his biography. It's called The Cure, the autobiography of Dr. Sabi Mama Hay, right? And so he looked at he looked at it, he gave it to me, he said, here it is. This is the reference. So I said, wow, you need to publish it. And to make a long story short, I ended up going to Honduras. He invited me there to help him fine tune or tweak his biography, right? And so that 7 day that I stayed with him turned into the book 7 Days in Usha Village, a conversation with Dr. Sebi, because in that particular book, it's memoir, it's commentary, right? It's my relationship with Dr. Sebi. It's that whole conversation that was so impactful to me that I felt that it had to go beyond just Dr. Sebi and me and Mattoon, his wife. The whole public needs to hear this. They need to have a copy of it so that they can refer to from time to time, because sometimes people record the lectures, the public lectures that Dr. Sebi has, when they're there, people record it. But those are individual people recording it. They're not recording it for everybody, right? They're only recording it for their own satisfaction, for their own archive. Well, I decided that I would take it beyond that and share my experience with the public. And so that's why you have 7 Days at Usha Village, a conversation with Dr. Sebi.
That's powerful. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never met him. Brother Leroy interviewed him, who was also a radio host on WHCR, and he's still doing interviews now at GHCR.NYC.
Okay.
And he interviewed Dr. Sebi. That was
Okay.
an amazing story in itself, how that happened.
Okay.
But how did you first meet Dr. Sebi?
Oh, I'll be dating myself if I tell you how I met Dr. Sebi. I'll be dating myself, but that's okay. That's
Those
okay.
are wonderful dates.
Yes, those are wonderful days. Those were great days, actually. I was working as a public affairs assistant at WHUR, Howard University's radio station, and Howard University is also my alma mater. Well, we were doing a program called the Sunday Digest. It was a news and arts program that ran every Sunday, right? It was a 2 hour program of news, music, information, all of that. Well, I was one of the producers on that 2 hour sort of news magazine type of show. And I was trying to find a topic to work on. And a friend of mine who was a vegetarian, John Davies, said, well, I have a subject for you. And plus, I was going through some health issues at that time, too. And so he said, well, you can deal with 2 issues at one time. You can talk to this guy about your health issue, plus, you can talk to him about his natural healing. So John Davies introduced me to Dr. Sebi. He said that Dr. Sebi is going to be in town. He's going to be in Washington, D.C. And so I said, well, great. I would love to see him. So Dr. Sebi was invited at a friend's house in Northwest D.C. called Todd. So he invited some people from WHUR. I think the promotions manager went, and I went. I think John Davies was there too. And I sat there, Rick, and I was like blown away. I was dumbfounded by what this guy was saying, because I had never heard anyone talk about health this way. Because natural healing and natural food and alkaline food and the food and disease connection, we never talked about that in my household. And I'm sure that that's the case for thousands of other people,
Millions.
not millions of
Millions.
people, not making the food and disease connection. They're not connecting that. So Dr. Sebi connected that in a way that was so articulate and so mesmerizing that I said, I've got to have this guy on the show. And so he agreed. He came to WHUR, spent some time with us, and a 4 part series came out of that interview on natural healing. And so I met Dr. Sebi. That was back in the 80s, Rick, when I first met Dr. Sebi. And I've just been a fan of his ever since. My cabinets, my medicine cabinets, my cupboards have never been without his products. I've been using his products since that time. I swear by his products. I know they work.
Wow, that is awesome.
They work.
Let me just jump in and tell you how I found out about you. I was at the gym one day, and I'm walking past the desk, and I see now the type of gym that I'm in, you won't see this kind of book in this kind of gym that I was at. I mean, it's a fitness gym, regular fitness gym, but
Okay.
you wouldn't see that kind of book usually. And I walk by and I see the book on the counter. I stopped. I went past and I backpedaled and I said, whose book is this? It was a young brother named Kamani. He was one of the trainers there at the gym. I said, this is your book? I looked at it, wrote everything down, all the information, and then I reached out to you. I was like, wow, I didn't even know. That's how I found out. But I knew about Dr. Sabi.
Right.
So
Lots of people in New York know about Dr. Sabi because his headquarters, one of his headquarters, I think the first one may have been in Brooklyn.
Yeah. I think I went there once.
Okay.
I went there once, yeah. I need to go there a lot more.
That's okay. They're still there. The fig tree is still there.
Wow.
The fig tree is still there. Yep.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's run by Sabi's son, Sesa, and Sabi's wife, Ma'a.
Wow. I gotta go
Ma'a and
back.
Sesa. They're still there in Brooklyn.
I had a hard time finding it too, man. I went it took me. Because where it is I just couldn't. I don't know Brooklyn like that. I had a hard time finding it, but I found it.
Okay.
I went in there, man, and it was it's a nice space, very nice
Okay.
space. I gotta go back.
Well, Ma'a is someone that you should have on your show if you want to talk about natural healing. If you
Okay.
want to get your viewers and your listeners on board with natural healing, Ma'a would be a perfect person to talk about natural healing, alkaline food, and Dr. Sabi.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
what is the title of the new book?
The new book is called Dr. Sabi Speaks of Dembali. Dr. Sabi Speaks of Dembali. That's the main title. The subtitle is Crossing Over from Disease to Ease in Matters of Health, Race, Family, and Culture.
Wow.
And
That's awesome.
it's a timely book. And with the pandemic going on and with the conflict with George Floyd going on, I said, wow, I wish I was publishing this right now. I wish we were launching it right now. But that's okay. November will be good. November will be great too. And we're talking about it now, so that's good.
Wow. Um, do you do exercise?
Do I exercise?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Although I haven't done my crunches in a long time. I haven't done my crunches,
Okay.
my sit-ups.
Uh,
I need to do those. But I do some stretches. I do stretches and, I do a little bit of calisthenics. I do that.
how important is stretching to natural health?
How important is stretching?
Yes.
How important is it to natural health?
Yeah, stretching.
Well, it's all important. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Exercise, what you eat, all of that contributes to good health. So
Now,
they work hand in hand.
okay. Did you know of any exercises that Dr. Sabi did?
Dr. Sebi walked a lot. He liked to walk.
Uh-huh.
But in terms of doing crunches and sit-ups and things like that, no, I've never seen him do that. But I've seen him walk a lot. He loves to walk.
Yeah, I heard that he did something one day, like he dropped down to his knees, from.
Yeah, he did that at one of his lectures, and I was surprised to see him do that in Usha, at his health center, his healing center in Honduras. We were just talking about health, and we were talking about thin people, like vegetarian people. Now, I'm pretty sure you've seen them. You've seen vegetarians who are very, very thin, right? And
Yes.
of course, Dr. Sebi is one of them. And I was just asking him about the health of vegetarian people compared to those who had a little bit more meat on their bodies, right? And so, to prove his point, Sabi just got up all of a sudden from the chair and he just dropped down, thump. to his concrete floor in his hut. He calls his cabins hut
Uh-huh.
at at Usha Village. He calls them huts. So he's in the main hut. We're in there talking. I'm interviewing him, recording him, and that happened. He just dropped down, and I heard this thump. And I tell you, Rick, he just got up with such ease, with such comfort, as if it was no big thing. And so he says, that's how effective the herbs are. That's what the herbs will do for you. So size has nothing to do with a person's strength, with their ability. It's the herb, it's what's on your inside that makes you healthy.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dr. Sabi, I don't think he was a fan of carrots.
No, not at all. And I think that when he was doing his public lectures, he always talked against the carrot. He wanted people to stop eating the carrot, because he felt that it was a hybrid. The orange carrot is a hybrid. And Dr. Sebi was right to tell people that it is a hybrid. It's true, but the carrot itself is a natural plant. It is a God-made plant, right? Because the carrot comes in different colors. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
The native carrot comes in it comes in white, it comes in purple, it comes in a variety of colors except orange. The orange,
Wow.
except orange, right? And that's the one that Dr. Sebi has been talking about all these years because the orange carrot is a laboratory. Well, yeah, it's kind of like a laboratory invention because geneticists injected the real carrot, the wild carrot, with beta carotene. So, beta carotene is a substance, a natural substance, put into the wild carrot to give it a sweeter taste, to give it that orange color, right? Because the wild carrot, the natural carrot, it's a bit bitter. It's really not the kind of vegetable that you would want to scrape on your salad or just eat by itself. So the geneticists, Dutch geneticists, injected it with beta carotene to make it orange and to make it sweeter to eat. And so that is the carrot that Dr. Sebi talks against in his lectures. So he's half right. He's half right.
I'm going to have to give my friend a call and let him know. My friend Bugs Bunny, he loves his carrots.
I know, I know, I know. I've seen him eat them.
Beverly, there's a big addiction out there, huge addiction, and it's like crack. It's called sugar.
Sugar?
Sugar. People are addicted to this thing called sugar.
Right.
It's a bad addiction for a lot of people, and it causes a lot of health issues. Can you speak to sugar?
Well, I grew up in a home that sweetened its tea to the hilt. I was raised by Southern parents. They came from South Carolina, and South Carolinians love their sweet iced tea.
Yeah.
So they love their sweet iced tea. So I was raised the way other people were raised, especially Southerners, and the sweet iced tea, the sweet lemon tea. That was a big part of our lives. And with cereal and with milk, I really didn't like to drink milk by itself. And if we didn't have the Nestle's chocolate, if we didn't have the chocolate powder to put in the chocolate milk, do you know what I would sweeten it with? Sugar.
Wow.
If we ran out of the Nestle's chocolate, the powdered chocolate, I would put sugar in my milk to make it, better to drink, better tasting. And so I grew up like that. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of us grew up like that. And so it becomes addictive because we were raised like that, right?
Yeah.
But now the message is out that sugar is very addictive and it's very harmful. And it is a drug. Reports have been written that sugar is addictive and it is a drug. And so I try to cut back on it and I talk about it. And Dr. Sebi has talked about it many times on his nutrition guide. He doesn't have sugar, of course. For sweeteners, he has agave nectar. He has maple syrup. So those are good sweeteners. date sugar, which a date is a natural fruit. You can eat that. There's some stores that sell date sugar. So you can use that in place of regular sugar. That's very, very addictive. And so sugar, yeah, you're right. It is a drug. And we talk about it in the new book. Dr. Sebi Speaks of Dimbley. He mentions that in the book also.
Beverly, what should I do? Let's say I'm in the supermarket. I got my cart going down the aisles. I'm looking, and I pick up some things. Oh wow, this looks really good. But then I look and I see it has like 800 milligrams of sodium, 500 milligrams of sodium, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 500 milligrams of sodium. What should I do?
Well, I think you should try and get some sea salt. I'm not
Right.
an
No, I'm
expert.
talking about I'm buying a product. You get some sea salt, but I'm buying a product and it has the sodium already in it. 800 milligrams, 500 milligrams, even
Well,
400 milligrams.
so much of the food that we eat today has a lot of salt in it,
Yeah.
especially the processed foods, and even the fast food restaurants, they cook with a lot of salt.
Right.
They
Okay.
cook with a lot of
Wow.
that. And so really what you really want to do is kind of like minimize that. That's comfort food to begin with. It's comfort food. And you really don't want to eat 80% of that all the time. You may maybe 20% of that. So that's why Dr. Sebi says in 7 Days in Usha Village, in that first book, he says there needs to be a paradigm shift. We need to change our eating habits from 80% comfort food and just 20% healthy food to 80% more alkaline, whole grains, nuts, and fruits and vegetables, right? We need to,
NYC Grant
yeah.
houses
So we need to change that paradigm to that and maybe eat 20% comfort food and the foods that are processed, like when you go to the store, let's say you're a busy guy, you're working and you don't want to go home and cook or you can't cook. So you go to the supermarket, you go to the frozen food section and you pick up some frozen foods and you bring it home where there's sodium in that food, there's sugar in that food too. But to eat like that all the time is a detriment to your health. You don't want to eat like that all the time. If you eat like that 20% of the time, that'll be great. But 80% of the time, when you're eating whole grains, when you're eating alkaline food, instead of rice, you're eating quinoa, you're eating teff, you're eating those kinds of whole grains, that's 80% food that will keep you strong so that when you come out of that and eat the comfort food, that's okay. That's okay. But right now, Rick, we're eating 80% more comfort food, more processed food than the healthy food. And so that's Dr. Sebi's platform, and that's my platform. We have to do a shift in the way we eat. And there's a way to make this alkaline food, this healthy food, delicious and tasty. You just have to tweak your seasonings a bit. That's all. Instead of using black pepper, use cayenne pepper. Instead of using regular salt, use sea salt. Instead of using the processed sugars, use maple sugar or maple syrup. Use date sugar. Right. So there's so many substitutions out there, but the problem is not too many people know about it. They don't know that these foods exist. And so it's something that I have to think about. I'm thinking about creating a platform, maybe a public speaking platform, where I go out and I become the female Dr. Sebi, so to speak, where I get out there and tell folks, hey, here are the alternatives. Here is how you go from eating comfort food, 80% comfort food, to eating 80% delicious, tasty, alkaline, whole foods. So that's my platform that I may be developing soon. But right now, I'm letting the books speak for me and speak for Dr. Sebi. So Dr. Sebi Speaks of Dimbley will continue his platform, will continue to tell people that the way we act, the way we treat people, the way we process what's going on in the world is directly related to what we put in our bodies.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And so the book,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. That is wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes, yes, because some of the themes in the book, Rick, are like self-love, like self-preservation, which is the first law of the universe. And Dr. Sebi talks about that a lot. in this new book, Dr. Sebi Speaks of Dimberly. He talks about he talks about black on black conflicts and the origins of that. Because he feels that a lot of this is directly related to the food that we eat and how that food impacts how we think and how we treat other people and how we treat ourselves, right? And so that's why the book I feel is important. That's why I feel that we should continue Dr. Sebi's legacy and get this message out. And I just wish I was just releasing this book right now because we really needed it 2, 3, 4 weeks ago when the conflicts happened. Yeah.
Wow, that is profound.
Yeah.
That is profound. What about what's a good way to bring down? Because a lot of people got high blood pressure. What's a
I
good
know.
way to bring that pressure down? A lot of people are on high blood pressure pills.
Well, I tell you, oh my gosh, I'm about to market Dr. Sebi's products because I know they work. Dr. Sebi's therapeutic system, his healing system, is called the African Bio-Mineral Balance System, the African Bio-Mineral Balance Therapeutic System. And that system is a twofold system. He takes with one product, with some of his products, he gives them to you. And the first part of it is to take the toxins out of your body, to remove the toxins from your body, right? So he has products that will do that, that will cleanse you, that will take the toxins out. But the second part of that is to rebuild your cells so that you can function properly, so that the high blood pressure and the hypertension will come down, will subside. Now, I know I'm giving them free advertisements, but his bladderwrack and sea moss powder, if you really want your nerves to be calm, people, it works. It really works. It works volumes to bring down your hypertension and your high blood pressure. But the thing is, Rick, is this. Dr. Sebi's system, the African Biomineral Balance System, will only work hand in hand with the food that you eat. They
Wow.
work hand in hand because there's no sense in buying Dr. Sebi's products, taking his products, if you're going to continue to eat the foods that he's trying to take out of your body, that he's trying to cleanse the plaque out of your body. He's trying to remove the kidney stones. He's trying to remove the gout. He's trying to remove the arthritis, the rheumatoid arthritis, and his products will do that. The African Biomineral Balance will do all of that, but you have to work with him on this. You have to want to heal your body, and your wanting to heal your body is your wanting to change your diet a bit. You want it not just a bit. For some people, you have to go full throttle. I mean, you have to just refurbish the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak. And so, in order to heal yourself, you want to change your diet, adhere to Dr. Sebi's nutrition guide, and also take the African Biomineral Balance therapeutic system. So, those two things hand in hand will heal you, will bring down the hypertension, will bring down the blood pressure, the high blood pressure, will get rid of the gout, the kidney stones, because his products will shrink all of that. We'll get rid of all of that. And if you're suffering from fibroid tumors and cysts, ladies, his sea moss and bladderwrack powder is the go-to product for cysts and fibroid tumors. But again, you've got to stop the dairy. You've got to stop the acidic foods, the starchy foods like the mashed potatoes and the French fries and the white rice. You've got to pull back on that if you want the cysts to go away, if you want those kidney stones to shrink and go away, if you want the gout to go away. You've got to pull back on those foods that put them there in the first place. And
Wow.
that's Dr. Sebi's platform.
So, Beverly, tonight or later on, a little while from now, I'm going to bake some chicken.
Okay.
What seasoning can I put on that's would be considered healthy and
Okay.
taste good?
Okay, in order to begin to slowly wean yourself off, and Dr. Sebi doesn't recommend that you make a cold turkey change to a vegetarian diet. You want to do it slowly. You want to do it
Okay.
gradually in steps, because if you tweak your diet, if you make a slow transition to a healthier diet, you'll stick with it. But if you
Right.
go cold turkey with it, if you go cold turkey, there's a chance that you're going to say, "Oh, forget it. I'm going back to the food that I love to eat." Right?
Right.
And so they're just like baby steps that you can take to tweak your diet. With your chicken, instead of using the seasonings like Dash, or maybe I shouldn't mention some of these companies. I shouldn't say that. But what you can do is use, instead of like the black pepper, why don't you use some cayenne pepper? Why don't you use some onion sea salt? Or why don't you use regular sea salt? Or you can use onion powder. Season it with those seasonings. Bake it, or if you want to fry it, you can fry it with spelt flour.
No, I'm not gonna fry it. I'm gonna bake it.
You're going to bake it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, when you bake it, use just a little bit. I don't know how hot you like your food, so you can put just a little bit of cayenne pepper, because cayenne pepper is very strong, very potent.
Yeah,
A
not
little
too. I
goes
don't like it too hot.
a little goes a long way. Okay, fine. Just use a little bit of that, and use your sea salt or your onion sea salt. There's a company that makes onion sea salt that I use all the time, that I season my fish with, which is really, really great. And then the regular sea salt is good too. And there's some other spices that you can use, and those spices are on Dr. Sebi's nutrition guide, and you can experiment with those. But tonight,
Okay.
since you don't have the nutrition guide, I don't know if you do or not. Onion
What's that?
powder is, I don't know if you have the nutrition guide or not.
No, I
Do you
don't.
have Dr. Sebi's nutrition guide?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll send that to you along with the book. Okay, I'll just
Okay.
stuff it in the book and send it to you. And so you can pull your seasonings from that nutrition guide and season your foods with that. Okay. But for
Okay.
tonight, for tonight, the cayenne pepper, onion powder, sea salt, onion sea salt is good. Okay. That's what I would do.
Beverly.
How's that?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Sounds good? Okay.
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing.
Wonderful.
Now, I heard you mention Jack Canfield. Now, Jack Canfield, along with Mark Victor Hansen, these guys sold 500 million books.
Yes.
That's like incredible.
That's a
500 million books?
that's a lot of reading.
Are you serious? 500 million books. So, do you study success?
Well, I'm a big fan of personal development,
Okay.
and I'm a big fan of showing up well in the world. You
Okay.
know, I really am. And Jack Canfield, people like Jack Canfield and Lisa Nichols. I don't know if you know Lisa Nichols. She's another motivational speaker. They're like Les Brown. They're all like Les Brown. Les Brown is the grand poobah of motivational speakers, right? He's the big kahuna in terms of motivational speaking and personal development. So Jack Canfield and Lisa Nichols are along that lines. They are along the lines of that kind of personal development, and I just like their platforms, their motivational platforms. And I think that selling 500 million books, Rick, shows that people want to improve. They want to improve, because you can't sell 500 million books, Chicken Soup for the Soul, and not have people want to be well. They want the information that Chicken Soup for the Soul gives and imparts to people. Lisa Nichols, she's been a motivational speaker for about, oh, I guess 15 years now, 15, 20 years. And she has, oh my gosh, she has over 36,000 followers on her Facebook page and on her website. I mean, a lot of people are following her, and she's a millionaire now. She went from welfare to being a millionaire. And that shows you that people are hungry for personal positive development. They want this information. They want it. And some people don't know how to get it. Uh, some people don't know where to turn because there's so much information out there. It's like, where do you turn? Where's the best person to get this information from? Well, it's all good. It's all good. Jack Canfield, Lisa Nichols, Les Brown, it's all good. Personal development is good. But Dr. Sebi speaks of Dimbley. I want him to have that kind of reach too. I want Dr. Sebi speaks of Dimbley to have that kind of reach.
So, Beverly, the reason why I ask you about personal development and success, one, I want to know what does success mean to you, one. And two, I would like you to give me, I'm a basketball fan. I like basketball. Grew up playing basketball.
Okay.
I want to know your starting five, your motivational success, personal development success team, your top five. Your top five, like, these are my five.
People on my team? The top five people on my personal...
Your motivational success, top five personal development champions.
Oh, okay. Well, I named two. Well, I named three, actually. Les Brown, Jack Canfield, Lisa Nichols is good. Those are my top three, Rick. Myself, Beverly Oliver.
Oh.
I have to put Beverly Oliver on that list. And health-wise, I would have to say is Dr. Sebi.
Wow, that's a nice team.
Dr.
That is
Sebi.
a nice team right there.
I think that rounds it all out.
Awesome team.
Yes.
Let me give you, can I give you mine? You mind if I give you my top five?
Oh, I don't mind at all. Feel free.
Napoleon Hill.
I've heard of him.
Think and Grow Rich, right?
Yes, yes.
Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was an awesome teacher. Les Brown.
Okay.
The motivator.
Yes.
Leslie Calvin Brown. Maybe Brown's baby boy.
Yes.
Reverend Ike.
Reverend Ike, really?
Reverend Ike. Motivator.
I forgot to put him on the list. Yes.
Serious student when it comes to success and motivation and positivity, positive thinking, self-image. He calls it self-image psychology.
Yes. Ooh. Yes. Reverend Ike was deep. He was very impactful.
Did you hear that? Self-image psychology. That boy, Reverend Ike he was down with this motivation. He had it, man. And he had the prosperity.
Yes.
And my last on the team, on my starting five, would be Mr. Rick Young.
Yourself, of course. Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you, when I first started asking people, I didn't have myself on the list. But I interviewed a young lady from California recently, Sade Burrell, and I asked her for her top five, and she put herself in the top five. I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
And then look, you did it. I need to introduce you. You need to meet her. You need to meet Sade. She's awesome. She teaches her two little young children personal development, and they actually even wrote a book.
Oh, she did?
And she's in California. That's somebody I would love you to connect with.
Okay, great. But I'm so happy that you mentioned Reverend Ike, because if there's anyone on the planet, may he rest in peace, to motivate people to change their thinking to the positive and to the possibilities of what life can bring, I tell you, Reverend Ike is it.
I'm making faces as you speak it, Beverly. You hit me.
Yes. A lot of people have criticized him because his focus has always been on money and the way you feel about money, right? And prosperity. They criticize him for having that at the forefront of his platform, but that was not always at the forefront of his platform. His platform was prosperity and abundance. Because if you have that, that helps you on so many levels of your life, right? It helps you with charity, to giving away to people, right? It helps you with your generosity. The more you give, the more you get back, right? In life. Yeah, he wanted people to change their mindsets, Yeah.
And Beverly, if I'm not mistaken, I think they also criticized this young man named Jesus. I think they criticized him too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, listen, criticism, hey, it's how you deal with the criticism. You're going to be
Exactly.
criticized.
Oh, he dealt with it
Anything
well.
you
He
do,
dealt with it. He dealt with it well. It didn't stop him from
Dr.
having all
Sabi
those.
got criticized.
Exactly. He did. He did.
Okay,
And
so
we talk about that in the book. In fact, the person who wrote the foreword in Dr. Sabi Speaks of Dimbley is Pamela Farrell. Pamela Farrell is a cornrow specialist. She's in Washington, D.C. She's the owner and operator of Cornrows and Company.
mm,
And back in the early 80s or 90s, the DC government tried to shut down her operation because she wasn't, let's say, a licensed or certified corn rower. So she knows about the rejection. And so she talks about that in the foreword. She's a fan of
mm.
Dr. Sabi too. She knows Dr. Sabi. And she went to Honduras to stay with Dr. Sabi for about a week or two. I think she was there maybe a week or two. And so she recorded Dr. Sabi, she talked with Dr. Sabi, and she's a big fan of Dr. Sabi too. And so I was so happy and so pleased that she decided to write the foreword in the book.
Well, you know what? True champions, and this is just my opinion, true champions don't criticize because they don't have time to criticize because they're too busy doing their thing. They're too busy working to be criticizing somebody. And
Right.
Jim Rohn's got a piece that he speaks about the complainers.
Okay.
He speaks about them and the way he drops it about the complainers. I need to stop complaining. Period. After listening to what Jim Rohn said, I need to stop. Complaining is just a waste of time anyway.
You stop? Okay.
It's a waste of time. We need to be
Right.
going because we only got so much time here on this planet, and we wasting our time
Exactly.
complaining. That's time we could be doing our thing, what we supposed to be
Okay.
doing.
Exactly.
Plain and simple.
That's good. That's good. Your outlook is good. I feel the same way.
Yeah. So Beverly, unfortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately, but we got to bring this interview to an end. This is not the last one. We're gonna do more, and we know we
Okay.
got the 1-2 punch today. So, I want to thank you for being here today. Let me get your website,
You are
contact
welcome.
information.
You are most welcome. And the website is www.sojourntohonduras.com. So that's
One more time.
www.sojourntohonduras.com.
Okay.
And there on the website, you'll find a blog that has information about Dr. Sebi, my experiences with him, my opinions of Dr. Sebi, and why I am totally 100% on board with the African Biomineral Balance System because I am a witness to that. I know his system works.
And so people could get the books in from that website.
Well, Rick, the physical book, the hard copy book, will not be available until November.
Okay.
Okay, the ebook is online at
Okay.
Amazon. At
And then get the
Amazon.
first book. They might want to get started with the first book. Can they get that?
Oh yeah, 7 Days in Usha Village, a conversation with Dr. Sebi. That's available. That's
Okay,
available
they get
now.
that. But
Yeah, that's
that'll get
available
them
right now.
started,
And hmm?
huh? That'll get
No,
them
so
started until the new book comes out.
exactly. And the second book is Sojourn to Honduras, Sojourn to Healing. That's the second one.
Yeah, and if they want to get it as an ebook, they can get it now. Or if they want to wait for
Yes,
the hard copy, they can get it in November.
yeah, exactly. They can get that right now if they want. They can get the first two books now, and those are available now.
So I'm gonna leave you with this, Bev. I'm gonna just say this is my last piece. There was a lady. I don't know if you ever heard of this lady. She go by the name of Mahalia Jackson,
Of course.
and she had this thing. She had a song. She would say, "If I could just help somebody, then my living would not be in vain." Right.
Yes, yes,
So I'm taking on the mission of just helping one person today with this interview. I only want one. I don't need 100. I don't need 1,000. I don't need 1,000,000. I only want to help one today. Just one person today. I'm taking on that mantra of Mahalia Jackson. If I can just help somebody, my living will not be in vain. Just one. And I'm gonna let you have the last word, Beverly.
I want to thank you, Rick Young, for giving me a platform to talk about one of my favorite people, one of my favorite speakers, Dr. Sabi. And I want to thank you for allowing me to talk about the new book, Dr. Sabi Speaks of Beverly. And it's an enlightening book, and it's an extension of the first two books. And I want to thank you. Dr. Sabi thanks you. Thank you so much.
So good, so good, so good. Oh man.
And
I
your
talk to you
mantra
soon, Beverly.
and your mantra has worked. You have helped one person, and that is me.
Woo!
But I'm
Talk to you
sure you
soon,
help more
Beverly.
people. I'm sure that you're helping more people than me today with your broadcast.
I only want one. I only want to
Okay.
deal with one.
Okay.
Beverly, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Take care.
All right
Thank
now.
you. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.